Is your mic on?
Hold it close so that you can hear. Yeah, hold it closely, Rick. You want to hold it really closely.
Real like this? Anyway, good morning, everybody. The regular meeting of Madera County Board of Supervisors is now started. Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. So let's go to closed session.
Chairman,
would you read into closed session items, please? Thank you.
Yes, Chairman and members of the board and clerk of the board, it's my understanding there are no additions to the agenda.
That's correct.
Okay. There are 6 items for closed session. Labor negotiations pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The labor negotiators are Adrian Caleb and the employee organization are all units. There are 2 performance evaluations pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. The title of the positions are County Administrative Officer and Animal Services Director. There are 2 existing litigation matters pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1. The 2 cases are Madera County Farm Bureau versus the County of Madera and the City of Chowchilla versus the County of Madera. There is a real property negotiator item pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The negotiating party is Eric Fleming, the County Administrative Officer, and the assessor's parcel numbers are listed on the agenda, which was posted and available to the public.
Thank you. It's lonely.
It's such a rainbow of colors today. Yesterday it was pretty monochromatic.
Ooh, big word.
You like that word?
Big word. Yeah, I asked Steve, yeah.
And then we're going to pull this and announce, and then on the consent calendar, we're going to proclamation for Alzheimer's and Bob needs a picture, so we can take a picture of you guys together.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Oh, shoot. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to August, gosh darn, what day is it today? August 13th, Board of Supervisors meeting. After closed session, do we have anything to report? September, what is it today? October, September? Anyway.
Yes, Chairman, members of the board, during closed session today on a motion by Supervisor Rogers, seconded by Supervisor Frazier, there was a unanimous vote 5-0 to approve a settlement agreement and release. The agreement is between the County of Madera, Tracy Kennedy in her official capacity as County Treasurer of the County of Madera, and Todd Miller in his official capacity as County Auditor Controller of Madera County, and the City of Chowchilla. It involves a tax-sharing agreement related to the state prison facility. There are no other reportable items.
Okay, thank you. Dave, would you honor us with the invocation?
Sure.
Dennis, would you say the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Let's bow our heads. Father in heaven, we thank you for the opportunity to gather as community members and as leaders. We pray for your wisdom in our deliberations and your guidance in our community. We pray for your blessing upon our community. We ask for those young men and women on foreign fields of battle that you would watch over them, strengthen them, give them a feeling from home of our love, help us to know their needs and to provide for them. We thank you for our freedom and our nation. Continue to bless us as a country and watch over us as we need to lean upon you, and we need your guidance. In Jesus' name, amen.
Before the Pledge of Allegiance, does anybody have anything to say about the members that we lost of our community? We have several veterans, and we did lose Chuck Raring, heck of an officer, a deputy, and a heck of a Boy Scout leader. So Chuck was really outstanding in the community, in Explorer Post and everything else, and quite a loss for the community.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Frank Wiley's name is not on there. I had Brittany, I sent her an email to put it on. I guess she didn't get it to you. So anyway, Frank Wiley, the owner of Circle W Ranch, I worked for 41 years up there, passed away 2 Sundays ago now, and 97 years old, and he's died at the ranch. So he'd come up every other weekend, and that was his home away from home. And I can't even tell you how much he's done for all the Eastern Madera County, from donating, from it's just everything he's done. Self-made millionaire, graduated from MIT, and he was one of my, besides my dad, was probably the most person that's ever mentored me to be the person I am. So he was quite a guy. And got married when he was 93, his second time, so tough guy. So anyway, he passed away, and it's just a shame. So we're all going to miss him up there. But he set up the ranch. It's 4,500 acres, and it's all set up in trust for his kids and grandkids, so it'll always be going forever there. We own land down here at Madera. Down there, actually, where Ron Domenici lives, that 40 acres where Dave Berry split up, that belonged to Frank Wiley. He made a deal to do that, so he owned all that land there. We farmed it. We did that. We started there with peaches in the 60s and went from pasture land to alfalfa to row crops, you name it, we farmed it. So he did a lot for everybody.
Anybody else?
Yeah, it's not on here, but I do want to mention Gurkash Chauhan, who's Cassie Chauhan's father-in-law, that was hit by a car and killed. But just wanted to, from the dais, send my condolences to Cassie and her husband, and tough loss.
Good deal. Okay, get us, please.
Can you join in this pledge allegiance and salute our flag? Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, no, I think, was Jack on the last one? Jack Curry-Ellis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Okay, consent calendar?
I have no questions. I mean, I have a few things. I do have one I wanted to talk about, I guess.
I can't hear you, Tom.
Oh, I had one I wanted to talk about. Item Q, I just, the right-of-way is for 37 or 47 feet up at up at Yosemite, Wani Park. Long day yesterday at Wani Park for the Caltrans, and them wanting that much land off of that for their future. They said for 30, 40 years from now to build. It's just crazy, but we got to do it so the SPCA can get started on their building up there. But I hate to pass it, but I guess we got to do it. So, right, Matt? No choice.
Okay. Anybody else? Nothing? Okay. Rhonda, you want to read J?
Yes, sir. Proclamation, whereas 2016 marks the 85th anniversary of Old Timers Week celebrations in Madera County, and whereas during Old Timers Week, citizens are encouraged to dress up in costumes which reflect the history of Madera County during the week beginning September 19th through 2016 through September 24th, 2016. And whereas Madera County, on behalf of county employees, has challenged Madera City employees to a historical costume contest during the week beginning September 19, 2016, with judging set for Thursday, September 22, 2016. Now, therefore, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Madera, State of California, to hereby proclaim the week of September 19, 2016 through September 24, 2016 as Old Timers Week and encourage Madera County employees to participate in the costume contest on said dates as well as other activities scheduled in celebration of Old Timers Week.
Morning.
Good morning, Chairman and members, supervisors, county supervisors. I'm Bob Winslow with the Madera County Historical Society, and Rhonda just read the proclamation signifying again that we're to the point of Old Timers Days, which will start next week. And we'll be doing most everything that we've done before, including the employee lunch, which I really support, or thank you for the support of the employee lunch. This will be the 24th year that there's been a lunch. It first started out with some hot dogs that were sold over in front of the museum. That was 1993. This started with the 100th anniversary of the founding of Madera County. And so it's grown now to where we have 500 or more employees. We combine with the city and some other agencies to get out there and be able to be there all together on one day and kind of, meet and greet and, have a good time. So the support from the Board of Supervisors has been tremendous. And I thank you for that and the fact that, we're able to continue this tradition. Also, the normal Old Timers Days activities will be going. We'll have the Who's Gra out there, and we'll have some badges if you want to stay out of jail. Yeah, I know some people do, and so we'll accommodate that. And if not, might be in jail. We'll have the parade on Saturday the 24th, and the day in the park with some booths in the park. And then there'll be a costume contest. That's a traditional thing, generally between the city and the county. And there's also individual costume awards for those individual best dressed for the county and best dressed for the city. The judging on that will be on the 23rd. That'll be the 22nd, I believe, on Thursday, and it'll be announced at the employee lunch on Friday. So, thank you again for the support. Really appreciate it. And another good year.
Let's take a picture with you.
Bob, how much is the badge?
Badges are $5, and it'll keep you out of jail. And all right, Brett, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll have the badges. We just don't have them right now, but we'll deliver them, and you'll be able to have one for sure. I'll put you down as the first #1 guy to stay out of jail.
Oh, that's right. I got a beer. I'm okay.
Well, I got to just go over.
You can do it.
There we go.
Anything more from the supervisors on the consent calendar?
Yeah, I have a question on AC.
On which one?
AC.
AC.
That's Public Works.
Public Works.
Supervisor Rogers, could you move your mic closer, please?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's why he couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the question is you've increased the contract amount by a significant amount here. Looks like 80,000. I just wanted to know what that was for.
Yes. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Jared with Public Works. The increase in that contract is due to some unforeseen conditions that we encountered in this building. It's an old building. There was some asbestos issues that we ran into that were quite, more extensive than what we anticipated, and also some issues with the air conditioning system. So Yeah.
Asbestos can be expensive.
Yes, yeah, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
So there's problems with the AC and
I
it's
did
item
walk
AC.
through that old building, and when we were fixing to do a tour, and I was waiting for Ahmed, and I walked through the building, and there was a lot of stuff that I could see personally that I thought, okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay. No other questions from board? Out to the public? Any questions on the consent calendar on the public? Back to the board. Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first by Brett, second by Tom.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. Public comment? 5.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to comment on any item within the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. Items presented under public comment may not be discussed or acted upon by the board at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public is invited to comment at the time the item is called for consideration by the board. Any person addressing the board under public comment will be limited to a 3-minute presentation to ensure that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any handouts to the board must be submitted to the chief clerk of the board for distribution to the supervisors. Anyone addressing the board needs to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium. Also, all persons addressing the board must state their name and county of residence for the record.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Jared Carter with Public Works. I just wanted to report to you a few meetings ago, I guess, we did bring an item to you for acceptance of the charging station project and the vehicle charging station project.
Oh, yes.
And those are all now online working, available for the public to use, both here at the Government Center, out at the jail campus, and then we also have one station up at Amtrak.
I had a lady thank me yesterday when I was walking through the garage that we had that, and she was quite excited that we had it, and it's awesome. Thank you.
Anything else, Supervisor? Any public comments? Nope. Okay. Come on, Joseph. Come on up, Joseph.
Good morning.
That beard's getting longer and longer, huh?
Yes.
No
Who Scout
for you, huh?
No Who Scout for me.
Look out, Duck Dynasty.
We have to put you to work in IT.
You got to diet first, though.
Good morning, Joseph Shadwan, Madera County. I was going to bring this up yesterday, but considering how busy things were, I figured it would be better to do so today. This past Sunday marked 15 years to the day that we lost over 2,000 lives to a senseless terrorist attack on our homeland. I know that I, for one, am never, ever going to be able to unsee what happened that day. That rage that I felt that morning is still within me. Even with Osama bin Laden gone, I am still angry. But I wanted to remember those people that lost their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. Under public comment, I want to make this public. Thank you, Norm, and thank you, VFW, for this wonderful hat. It says lifetime member on it. And
awesome.
Cool. I did go out to KB Lighting and had a great time. Thank you for reminding me about the 9/11. They've been doing it for over 15 years, and they had just an outstanding presentation again this year, and I was very proud to be there.
And thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Okay.
Excuse me, Chairman? Oh, go ahead.
I also want to thank Joseph for bringing that up, because it's so easy to skip over things of significance, and there were a lot of people that lost their lives that day. I still remember where I was the morning when I found out, and I was building the Crossroads Christian School facilities at the time, and the kids were gathered there for school, and I remember them coming out and saying, "It's the end of the world." They thought it was the end of the world, and they were just terrified. And so I tried to console them and told them, that it wasn't. And we also need to remember that there were many men and women, soldiers, who sacrificed their life to defend our country during that time, too, as well. So we appreciate their service and sacrifice of love for this country.
Yeah, I was down in Orange County when it happened, and my girlfriend and I at the time went to go give blood in Anaheim, and we literally drove past Disneyland, and there were armed guards and Humvees with heavy machine guns on them at every corner of Disneyland. It was the most surreal thing I'd ever seen, with people with World War III with a question mark. I can still see it, and where we've come from then. We did show our resolve during that time, as a country coming together, and hopefully it doesn't take another attack like that to bring our country back together. So I think in those times we should remember how divided we were and how united we became after, and to try and get back to that and get away from the divisiveness we're in right now.
Okay, thank you. And then plus you want to read 8A?
I'd like to make a public comment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank all the departments and the staff that helped with our special hearing that we had last night. It took several departments all coming together. So, the staff upstairs and the clerk of the board's office as well, of all the chiefs of staffs, and then administration helping with the additional security and all the maintenance and everything that was required for setup, and a great coordination with IT, providing sound enhancements for folks that weren't here. We had additional speakers and additional monitors that were available to us, and then of course all the staff in planning that was down here helping with all the folks with their speaker cards. And so it was just great, the whole coordination and collaboration between everybody. And then of course Benchmark Resources for helping us with our sound enhancements. So.
And just as a follow-up, I want to
real quick. Kudos to everybody again. I said that last night, but very, very good meeting yesterday. It went off perfectly. All the planning we did before the meeting, and I really on the agenda meetings and everything, and all the heads of staff and everything, I really appreciate what we did yesterday. So,
and Chairman, almost perfect, huh, Max?
Yeah. 5-star on that. So.
Chairman, I just wanted to add to echo what Rhonda said and apologize on behalf of the planning staff, because we're the ones who caused all this. It was our application. So.
No, it was their application, not yours. You just processed their application, which is what everybody has a right to do with their property.
Okay. Do you want to pull 8? You said you want to pull 8A?
Yes. By staff request, we are requested to pull pending legislation, which is 8A. That bill, it's my understanding, has died in the Senate, so there's no need to remove our opposition letter.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. 6.
6A, Community and Economic Development Department, Planning Division, purchase of computer hardware equipment for posse and county email exchange upgrade. 1, consideration of approval of receipt of unanticipated revenue number 16-116 in the amount of $65,000 derived from planning automation maintenance fee, release of fund balance to operations transfer out for fiscal year 2016-2017, 4 votes required. 2, consideration of approval of receipt of unanticipated revenue number 16-117 in the amount of $65,000 derived from CED planning operations transfers into fixed assets for fiscal year 2016-2017, 4 votes required.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Norman Allender here, Chief of Development Services, here with the Chief Information Officer. and the Director of Community and Economic Development to Matt will give you the details of what I'll just say is a good part of an increasing collaboration between IT and other folks. And when you work together, you can solve more than one department's problems by spending money in an efficient way. So Mr. Trieber will give you the details, and if our other chief has something to say, glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt Trieber, Community Economic Development. This has been an ongoing process that we've looked at how to best upgrade and update our permit tracking system on the third floor. All of our building permits, grading permits, planning commission applications, board applications that come for you for land use applications all come through Computronics. We did go out through a bid process to look at other firms for an ultimate upgrade. IT was involved with that as well. So we've gone through a number of steps looking at ways to better our system. Your board in January of this year did authorize an upgrade to our existing system to get us to a level where Computronics is still providing services. Our system had been quite outdated. And working with administration and IT, we were able to get that done. This is the actual hardware component that comes back in and provides the necessary server and hardware on the IT side to upgrade that, and also provide upgrades for the email system, which I'm going to lean on Tanya for more detail on that. But this really was a collaborative approach and a lot of working together. So I can't thank Bruce and Tanya and Eric and Kevin enough through this process. So we're getting our system updated here, as well as the foresight to have the fees in place in order to do that. So with that finishes my part.
Good morning. Like Matt said, we worked together. They engaged early. The department engaged us early, and we looked at the upgrade as well as where the future. And so had they have just stuck to just looking at just the small component of the upgrade alone, they would have been at a $72,000 expenditure. Since they were willing to engage, we looked at all our options for another $7,000, so for a total of $79,000. They are now ready to go to the next step as well. So they did their one upgrade. Their hardware is in place for the next upgrade that should be coming relatively quickly, because that will provide a lot of remote access for their staff in the field, so we really do want to get them to that point. The savings really comes in because in 2014 your board approved a virtualization project, which is in essence a private cloud here in our county data center. And by working with us, we were able to, my staff was able to say that if we look at this project as well as the county email server project, and we combine those together, we'll have a significant savings. So my staff worked very hard in that effort. And in addition, we'll soon have the One Solution hardware upgrade coming, and that should save another $43,000 based on the work of Public Works, the email upgrade project, and One Solution. So we're really seeing a lot of the economies of scale come together.
Maybe we'll quit calling it rodeo, huh?
That's the translation for you. I apologize. The rodeo program. Yes, sir.
We're moving it up, so it's maybe it's going to be a rodeo.
We're going to the PRCA. We're moving up to PRCA rodeo.
I just want to make a real comment. What a novel idea! Departments working together on the same issue, and I really appreciate both of your departments working together to basically enhance the system. We've been working on that for a long time, and I really appreciate the original task force from the CAO that we started several years ago to try to make sure that all of our departments work together in a normal fashion so we all know what's going on in IT, and so all the computer systems marry our original software so we don't have any problems, so we can be more efficient. I really appreciate that. So I just want to make that comment. Thank you. Okay. Any public comment? Back to the board.
Move we approve items 6, 1 and 2.
Second. We have a first by Tom, second by Brett.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you. Okay. 10 a.m. hearings, 7A.
7A, County Administration Department, hearing to consider approval of an ordinance to grant a franchise to 41MB 8ME LLC to construct, install, maintain, operate, repair, renew, and remove a pole line and underground transmission system and fiber optic cable along a specified portion of Avenue 12 for the purpose of transmitting electrical power and fixing the time and place for public hearing of the proposed franchise.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. Nicole Desmond, the County Administrative Office. The item before you today establishes an ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to 41MB 8ME for the grantee's solar farm. The franchise is limited to a distance not to exceed 6,000 linear feet and runs along Avenue 12 just west of the Road 30 alignment. The franchise fee is determined based on the number of linear feet that is to be installed, and the fee schedule is contained in Exhibit B of the ordinance. And the term of the franchise is for 35 years from the effective date. There is a minor clerical error on page 2 on section 6. The third line needs to add after, in building permit, we need to add and or encroachment permit. It is referenced correctly in Exhibit C, construction requirements, but it is not in the ordinance language itself. I spoke with County Council this morning, and when you adopt, if you so choose to adopt the ordinance, it just needs to be referenced, that correction be added, and we'll correct that. And Rebecca Kelly with 8 Minute Energy is here today to address any questions on the project.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Back to the board.
She doesn't even get to talk.
Yeah.
She's already.
Happy to be here. We're excited to build this project in Madera County.
I
don't have a statement, but I am happy to answer questions.
No questions.
What's your name?
I'm Rebecca Kelly with 8 Minute Energy.
Guess you did such a good job, you don't have any questions?
Good projects are good projects.
Yeah, speak for themselves.
Okay, boss.
I move that we approve item 7A.
Second.
We have a first and a second. A first by Brett, second by Dave.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
The vote passes 5-0.
7B.
7B,
Thank you, girls.
County Administration Department, Human Resources Operation Division. Second hearing to consider an ordinance amending the annual salary for members of the Board of Supervisors effective December 1st, 2016.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is a continuation of this is the second of 2 hearings. It was requested, the one piece of information that we did want to add.
Can't hear you, Eric.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. From the last hearing, the one piece of information that actually was requested by the chairman to be added to the discussion was a table that shows all of the salaries of the elected officials within the county, and then what that translates to in terms of a percentage of the current Superior Court judge salary. So that's the slide that you have before you today. And as you can see, I'll just point out that the proposal to increase the board's salary to $94,520 puts you on the. You're still on the table, but you're at the bottom of the table and the lowest paid elected officials. So, with that, I'm available for any questions. So is Adrian Caleb.
Tom?
Yeah, thank you. Somebody put on either Facebook or something that I misrepresented some of the communities that I talked about last time. And one of them was O'Neill's and the other was Hidden Lakes. Well, I did screw up because it's Hidden River Ranch that I represent. And O'Neill's, I represent at least half of it with Brett. We both cover O'Neill's, so I didn't represent O'Neill's. And so I just wanted to make that sure that I give this a lot of thought, and I think we're really messing up by not doing this, but I think with the safety tax we're doing, everything else right now, I was going to propose that we make it just 3%, to be more in line with our employees of the court's salary. But I don't even know if I want to do that right now, so I'm just going to make a motion to just drop it right now.
I'll second that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. Can we make more comments first?
Yeah, I want to make a quick comment.
Okay. David?
Yeah. This is not my career. What I do here is my service. And I am a contractor engineer. That's what I do for a living. This position does not exist to provide me with an income, but rather it exists to provide the people with representation. That's what I try to do. So I appreciate Tom's gesture. Thank you.
I got one more, actually.
Okay. I just want to make a public comment also. Last time we voted on this, the board voted 3-2 to have the elected, and it was never in the paper, have the other elected raised in increments and stuff like that. And I really took offense to that because, of the 100% job that this board has done. And but anyway, that saying, the logic, and I've already said this before, the logic for my increase for the fifth year last January, February, whenever we voted on that, was hopefully that the voters would pay attention to the job that supervisor did and not become a political politician type, what am I trying to say? A politician that basically goes out and kisses babies and goes to meetings and everything that we've done. Well, my problem is that I work so hard with the social services. I work so hard with the behavioral health. I work so hard with it's unnoticeable. But anyway, going back to, I was hoping that people would pay attention so when they elect has a higher salary that has been doing a good job. I was wrong on that. And I apologize for that. And I apologize. David and I were the only ones that voted the elected officials down last time. And I also will vote no on this increase. Max?
Wait, I had no.
Oh, Tom, sorry.
I just, what David said, he's got a job at contractors. He didn't take this as a full-time job.
Right.
This job is a full-time job. That was my whole purpose to even supporting this, is because it is a full-time job. I mean, you might not do it full-time, that's fine.
No, I do.
But we need people here that can afford to, so they don't have to take a second job to do that.
Right.
That way we have the right people up here instead of just people that's going to do it part-time, a half-assed job. And that's not what I've ever done.
Yeah, my statement was just for me personally.
I know. That's what I said. But that's the reason I want to explain that to the people. The reason that I supported this from day one is that this is a full-time job. This is not no part-time job.
That's right.
And anybody does it with a part-time job, they're not doing a good job, bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Max?
I seconded that motion last time, and I still feel that the salary increases are warranted, but I can accept this. I represent the East Side. The East Side is very economically distressed, and I try to work as hard as I can to improve the lot over there by pushing projects that produce jobs. As everybody on this board realizes, my nickname is Jobs, 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 and that's what I work for.
Except yesterday.
And I think that, except last night.
Yeah.
But let me make a remark on those 40 jobs. Those people are not going to move to Madera County.
Most of them are already.
They are set in where they live. I don't know that for a fact, but if we were to take a survey a year from now after the plant started operating, you'll find out that most of these people still live where they live right now. So I said that. But as far as the people, I know Tom here, this guy is something else. Just watch him write all this stuff here. He takes notes. He's like a transcriber. Transcriber. And so we all try to do the best we can with what we have and the knowledge and try to get knowledge and do a good job. And if people feel that we shouldn't get that raise, so be it. So be it. I can live with it. And I'm not unhappy. I'm fine. Thank you.
Brett? I've voted it down last time, and this job does take a ton of work. It takes a lot of time away from family and friends. But this job, as it sits now, pays well. There was times that we talked about this would help bring other people in that would do it. Well, the right people are going to come. The right people have come. I look at this board now, and you came knowing what the pay was, and you were the right people at the right time. I appreciated going through and understanding how much this. The first time that it was brought up, it was my very first meeting, and I had no idea what it entailed, the job, and then now to this point I know, and I know how much extra time it takes, but having a business in the community, I think when you have a very well-run community, when you have a community that likes to bring in economic development, then that raises everybody's ships. If we're making the right decisions here, my raise can come in the private sector, and I appreciate everything that everyone does up here. I see how hard everyone works, I think, Tom, by you pulling this off, I think it's the absolute right thing to do, because the more important thing is making sure that this public safety sales tax passes. And I think with this raise, it wouldn't pass otherwise. I think it takes a lot of courage for you to realize that and say that. And so I just wanted to say how much I appreciated you making that motion to take it off. It's very, sometimes as these things get going, we get very wrapped up in it. And, we're taking shots all the time from different angles. And sometimes it's hard to kind of shake it off and think, okay, what's right? And I think you absolutely did what's right here, and I just wanted to say that publicly and thank you for that. So that's my piece.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to listen to public comment since we already, okay, public comment?
Dale Drozen, Madera County. I was asked to read a letter into the record. I have no way of contacting the gentleman that asked me to read it, so to find out if he still wants it read, those were my instructions, so here it is.
Hey, you'll get close to the mic, please.
Dear Chairman Farinelli, I had an opportunity to observe the Board of Supervisors' August 23rd meeting online. I was especially interested in listening to the discussion regarding a potential 25% increase in the supervisors' salaries from both proponents and opponents. Due to the impact of the increase could cause, based on the comments I heard, I recommend that the board take one of two of the following actions when the item is taken up for the final vote on September 13th. 1, vote no on the proposed increase. 2, vote to postpone the action until January 17 or after. My recommendation is based on the following. The chair doesn't want to vote for the increase. I could determine this from your comments. You are struggling with the issue with statements you made such as, I really have a hard problem with this, and I really have a hard time voting for this. You also stated that you would accept an amendment to postpone the vote until our supervisor-elect is in office. An individual in favor of the increase would not have made these statements. Passage of the resolution to increase the supervisor's salary by 25% would jeopardize the passage of the county's 1% public sales tax. A vote to increase the supervisor's salary at this time could cause people to wonder why they should vote for the tax increase when you vote yourselves a big increase in pay. The implications are too obvious to ignore. What is the rush to vote for this increase? Make the supervisor-elect accountable for the vote, up or down, for a potential salary increase. I recommend you force me to vote up or down on a potential increase in compensation after taking office and face the political fallout, since I am the one who would benefit if it's approved. Thank you for taking time to consider my input regarding the proposed salary increase. Request received last meeting. Please contact me for clarification regarding any statements. And it's signed Robert L. Puethia, Supervisor-elect, Madera County.
Why didn't he come and read that?
I want to thank you for reading that, because I had that letter right here also, and I got that letter 3 days before he put it in the paper also. I just want to make that clarification. And this does not determine, his letter does not determine what I'm going to vote today on, but I really appreciate Rob putting that in the paper. I really do. Thank you.
Did you have a question?
Yeah. How come he didn't bring it to read it?
Because he's in a couple of meetings and he hasn't taken office yet.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Got anything else, Jim? Thank you.
Good morning. Susan White, District 2, Madera County. I'll just preface what I'm going to say with, I actually typed out on my phone because I never forget that. I always have it with me, what I originally intended to say. And I do that because that way I don't forget things that I actually want to say. But from what I have heard this morning, some of the things that I intended to say are unnecessary at this point. I will say that the surveys that were taken, I thought reflected information that was unnecessary based on the ordinance that we already have in place. I don't believe that there was a need, evidently you all at this point, or the majority of you agree, that a raise was necessary. It was mentioned, I believe, by you, Supervisor Frazier, that people come into this with an idea or an intention for public service, to serve. And I believe probably most likely that was the intention of all of you here. I will also say that there are a number of situations where people in our county volunteer a tremendous amount of their own time. And they don't get paid for it. And it takes a lot of time away from their family. My son, or one of my sons, and my nephew and some friends are volunteer firefighters for the city of Chowchilla. Time and time and time again, they leave their families at home. They are up fighting fires for several hours during the night and go to work the next morning every day. I do a tremendous amount of volunteer work in the schools and in my community. I think we all do that, and I think that's something that people, good, upstanding members of our communities want to do. So I appreciate that you are taking into consideration the fact that this originally was intended to be something of service and not a paycheck. I appreciate that. I also appreciate that you are considering the constituents that you were elected to represent and what you believe based on things that have been said, probably a fair amount of public outcry. and what you're facing as far as trying to get past in the future for our public safety, I appreciate the fact that you are reconsidering this, and I applaud you in taking a second look and considering that this should be voted down or not even addressed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay. Anybody from the public? No more? Back to the board. Tom? Take your motion.
Already made it. Already made it.
What's that?
Yeah, I already made it.
Call for the
Brett
vote.
seconded.
Okay, yeah, call for the vote. Tom
And Brett?
first, Brett second. Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Passes that we drop it.
Passes to deny the amending the ordinance.
Yeah, let's make sure that yes, so make sure that that's, a yes means no, no means yes.
I slipped yes in there.
Yeah.
5-0 vote.
Yeah, you just passed it, Tom. Okay. You see where we at. 7C.
Now the fun begins.
7C, Community and Economic Development Department Planning Division, hearing to consider request of Colette Goja? I'm sorry. For a letter of public convenience and necessity to obtain a Type 42 on-premise license to allow the sale of beer and wine from an established bar. The property is owned by Tony Almeida, and is located on the northeast corner of Highway 41 and Golden Oak Loop, Oakhurst. The parcel is assessed via Golden Oak Loop. The parcel is zoned commercial urban general. The general plan is community commercial.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt Trieber, Community Economic Development. Rhonda did an excellent job surmising a lot of that. I'll kick it off to Robert for a brief synopsis of it for the board.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Robert Mansfield, Planning Department.
Slide that over closer to you. Thank you.
Before you is a letter of convenience and necessity. We've had several of these in the past couple of months. This one differs from the ones that we've had in the past, which those were for like supermarkets and convenience stores, were considered off-premise licenses, which means you go in, you buy, you leave, and consume elsewhere, whereas this is considered an on-premise beer and wine only, wherein you buy the alcohol, the beer and the wine on premise, in this case a bar or a tavern, and consume it there. This particular license basically forbids minors, those in this case those under 21, for being on the premise due to the nature of the business involved.
So that's not that Vulcan employees can't go there? Minors?
Yeah. Oh, minors. Oh.
There you go. There we go. Now it all comes back.
Hey, redhead. That's enough of that.
And with that, basically, I remain available for any questions.
You remain available?
I remain available.
I'll remember that.
Questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Bring it back to the board.
I move we approve item 7C, and thank you, Colette, for bringing some great businesses in Oakhurst.
Okay, we have a
She
first.
does a great job because she's got other businesses too.
Second.
We have a first from Tom, second from Brett.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Farinelli?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
No vote.
Do we have a any pending number 8? Any pending legislation?
No, we pulled it.
Okay, we got pulled one, but I thought maybe someone else had something else. Okay.
Want to give a report?
Supervisor staff, a report.
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
I attended the Valley Voice trip to Washington, D.C., in which we lobbied a large number of Valley congressmen, different congressmen from different regions, as well as senators. And we did go to the EPA, and we discussed the air pollution control standards that need to be met by 2023.
Yeah.
We insisted that they're unachievable and that this valley would have to reduce its pollution by 90% to comply. In other words, if we remove all the people, all the industry, all the cars, all the equipment from the valley, we could still never comply with the air pollution control rules. Tom Jordan did a great job of presenting some of the facts that our air pollution is largely due to mobile sources and outside events that are beyond our control.
85% of our pollution is mobile.
Exactly.
Through traffic.
Exactly. And it was a very interesting exchange. The discussion turned to external events such as catastrophic fire. And we went right after them. The door opened, so I went after them on the fact that they are the Environmental Protection Agency. If they really want to protect the environment, they need to make sure that solutions are in place for our national forests, such as logging, grazing, and natural fires, and thinning.
Forest management.
Forest management, period. GTR 220 HR 1904. And it was interesting that we actually got some agreement among the representatives that were there. Hopefully they will do exactly that and turn their attentions to this huge problem. Tom Jordan then piggybacked off of that and said that we will be filing exceptions for our plan as a result of these events, and that enables us to comply more with the rules.
Right now, the rules won't let those exceptions because
right.
It's not an extraordinary
They said they would talk about
event.
It. They said they would talk about it, and we told them that they need to discuss this because this is beyond our control. How is it our fault that they've allowed the forest to get to such a situation that we have a rim fire that burns enough particulate matter into the air for 304 million cars driving for 1 year? How is that our fault? Why are our businesses having to pay these fines in these situations? We can't breathe the air because of external events beyond our control, because the pollution from San Francisco and China that flowed over through to trap in our valley, and then you have these events that pollute our air as well. Not to mention the silt runoff that destroys the water quality ex post these events, and the ramifications of not having a watershed to begin with.
And fills our lakes up and our ponds up.
Right, absolutely. So and then Supervisor Ishida took the opportunity to talk about the tree mortality and how this was going to be a regular occurrence for many, many years to come, and that it needs to be considered an exceptional event. And so your people were right there, Tom, with us, and they did a great job. Tom Jordan was outstanding.
Really good.
Very good, and we really had it out with them, the EPA, in a good way. Got some of our congressmen and senators on board on the same issue.
Thank you for doing that.
You bet, man. I loved it. I was proud to speak on our behalf. It's my wheelhouse.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it. Okay. Tom?
Yeah, a couple of things. We had our tree mortality meeting last Thursday or Friday. I don't know what it was, but anyway, the CAL FIRE now is every time a unit comes into our county,
Excuse me?
It's okay. When you guys get done, we'll start. CAL FIRE, we had our tree mortality meeting. We meet once a month with Cal OES, the Caltrans, CAL FIRE, Sheriff, everybody becomes part of it. Anyway, what we're trying to do and get monies for our citizens. But the CAL FIRE came up with this Madera, Mariposa, Merced brochure they put out now. And the front pictures is that's all those dead trees. It shows what it is. That every time any of these, right now, every time we have a fire, even a little one, they shift, the stations wherever. I mean, like we had the Norfolk fire, we had them from Fresno and Merced there, and the first ones, our Norfolk areas were at another fire someplace else, actually over on the coast. So, and they usually don't know what's happening here when they come from these other areas. So they got this brochure now. It's really information for them. And they gave me a copy of it, so if you guys want to look at it, it's kind of cool. So, and then the Heritage Days Parade is this weekend, so I text you guys and see if you want to come to it and ride in my 30 Chevy, any of you? starts, you got to be there at 9:30, so no
9:30,
big
yeah.
if you want to. Let me know.
Okay. Brett? He's good feet?
No, he put his name.
Oh.
I attended the San Joaquin River Conservancy meeting, and there was the first really contentious item I've ever seen on that board, and I don't think it should have been, but McCaffrey was trying to give access to the river on both the Madera County side and Fresno County side, and people got up in opposition. All developers are bad in all forms, and they said we're not going to build anything here. It's literally just
the bridge is already there.
And it was to kind of rehab that bridge,
Right.
gain access on the Fresno County side, because he has a piece of property that has that easement that goes over there. And everybody just came out of the woodwork, said how bad he was, and Chris Acree was giving him an F, and it was ridiculous. It took 2.5 hours for us to not do anything on it, and now I think we're going to lose that connection there.
For the people, that's absolutely
It was, this was for, he said, this is not just for Tesoro Viejo, this is for all people, whoever, there's a little
It's a
park.
public right-of-way, right?
There would be like a little park and ride that they would develop. And this was just to do the planning. And some people from Fresno said, and one of the members on the board with me said, well, I don't think that there's enough support here on the board that what I'm hearing wouldn't even let us call for the vote. It was an unfortunate event, and I think it's going to end up, I've talked with Bob after, so we still have the access there on the Madera County side. He said, we'll just do it in Madera County so that the people in Madera County can have the access,
right.
And Fresno County is the ones that are going to lose out on it. So it was an unfortunate meeting and how it had gone. Carl Jansen and I from Madera were, wanting to put it through, at least call the vote, and the chairman wouldn't even, he just kept kind of killing that and pushing it off to the side. So it was very, very unfortunate. But Madera County is not too harmed. We still have, we're still going to have the access for the people, right. Not just Tesoro Viejoans.
For anybody.
For anybody.
The same thing happened, when about 3 or 4 years ago when I was on the COG and all that stuff. They, they got that right away to the river on the Fresno side, right there along 41. It comes down from Knees down in there someplace. Mm-hmm. And they denied that too. They said they could go around Madera, drive all the way around and come in our right of way. We just approved so they could go into our side. And the air board, everybody was on side to keep it there so they have not that extra traffic. So the Fresno citizens got denied again on this one. They got denied on that one because those rich people sitting up on those bluffs, and one of them's Herb Bauer, and they stopped that.
Yeah, they want access. As long as
it ain't my backyard,
as long as it's their access, right. And that was the unfortunate.
Yeah, so the rich and famous can still go and do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to remind everybody on the board that when Manuel was here and myself and Norm and Doug Nelson, when the city of Fresno sued us for all the McCaffrey stuff and everything else, we do have now an MOU, and we should probably be looking that back up now that they're building out there. That the part of the fees that the city of Fresno sued McCaffrey, that McCaffrey had to give to the city of Fresno, half of it comes back to us. So I just want to make sure that that's on record, and we did basically put together that scenario. So once McCaffrey starts building the house, make sure that we get half that money back.
Yeah, and that was
and that goes all to the San Joaquin.
So there was the thing to building these trails. Someone can build them, but then it's the ongoing operations and maintenance. And Bob and Brent had come up with an idea that there's a transfer fee on every home when it sells, when it resells. So it'd be there in perpetuity that would pay for the operation and maintenance of this, which was always the piece that was missing.
And they missed that all in their whole trail.
Yeah, and this was sitting on the River Conservancy board. They have, this was a big piece of the puzzle. This Ledger Island and Ball Island on the Fresno side, to be able to connect that and create these trails that go around through. And now we finally had someone willing to pay for it, and with an ongoing funding stream in perpetuity. Those transfer fees would run with the land. So
whenever they sold, 20 years, they still got that.
It would always be there to keep and maintain those trails. And I mean, when I saw it on the, I thought, what a great idea. You know, the last time it had come forward, it was Kumbaya, and this time it was not.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay.
That was me, Supervisor Fraser.
Council, so.
We don't want to move too far away from the update into substantive discussion.
Is it my turn to talk?
Yep.
Okay.
Go for it.
You know, just I think you guys have already mentioned it. You know, but I went to Wishawn, a group of friends of mine. We went to where we do that every year. We went fishing up there at Wishawn and Courtright. And what you see up there, it's a catastrophe, and we all know that. But when you drive through there, and I think it's mostly the pine trees, but they're dry. There's so many of them that you have fallers up there that are trying to cut some of the trees down, but it's too big of a problem. I've talked to Tom about this. You know, we discussed why. I used to work in a sawmill years ago, and of course the spotted owl arrived and eliminated the logging, so the sawmill's shut down, except Dinuba, they have one going down there. And they can't take any logs. They can't take any more, although I saw some trucks coming down, a lot of trucks coming down with logs in the back. And what I'm trying to say is the direction I'm going is, why couldn't we revive the lumber industry? Because if you catch those trees before they show that they're dying, and there's ways to do it, right, Tom? If you could cut these trees, if you could have a lumber industry, logging, sawmills here, you can even move them from Oregon. They have a lot of sawmills up there shut down. If we could move some of those sawmills down here, the timber there, it could last forever. Because what you see, you have to take a drive up there and drive through those groves of trees. They're all drying. They're drying, guys, and it's ugly up there. It's terrible. And we got to make use of some of that stumpage that's up there, those logs there. We got to do something. It's a great problem, but I think there's profits to be made. Incentives, credits, or whatever it takes to revive the lumber industry. And I think it can be done, but it takes, I guess, politicians to start pushing in that direction, or maybe people don't like us. Well, there you go. But we also have to do a little bit more. Talk to legislators up there, the powerful people up there, control those committees to get something going, because it's not a rocket scientist idea. You know, this is very simple. You got the stumpage there, the logs, the trees. They can, before they get too dry, once they get dry too far, then they get the worms and they turn blue. That's pine, turns blue. And the idea is to cut them before they start showing that dryness, when they still have some moisture.
It's real easy to do, and one of the things that Brittany are on the governor's task force, and that's one thing almost every time that we go up, we say, you know, they're trying to figure out some kind of solution. The number one deal is start putting up $20 million grants to build sawmills. They got all the sites, almost all of them are still available, and get them going again.
Yes.
I mean, we got the most renewable resource in the whole world, and it's just sitting here dying and burning.
But if you do that, industry, there's profit there to be made.
Oh yeah, and they'd be paying them back easy.
Yeah,
There'd
so
be no profit.
This idea, we should start pushing that idea, because it can be done.
The problem is that there's the agencies that regulate those things are so powerful. You know, a project, or to get that kind of legislation through, is going to take 16 years now, and they just know that they have to wait out.
I hate to disagree with you, because we're beyond that point. Environmental obstacles, we're beyond that point. I think themselves, they see that. You know, when you go up there, you take a bunch of those people up there and see what's happening. I don't think you have that blockage there like it was before.
And it's just, you know, you take the politicians, the legislators that are doing things, and they don't have. They're not in office long enough.
It takes common sense and common people to push an idea that has merit. You know, we can't think, they'll block us, let's not try it. It should be not tried, it should be done.
Yeah, I think I'm more just indicting the term limits.
Maybe we can put this on the agenda so we can talk more about it. Do you have anything else, Max? Thank you for that. And I agree with both of you, but the industry will not come back in California. That's period. I mean, that's you heard me yesterday talk about the industry getting smaller and smaller and smaller, single sourcing. That's happening in the United States. The trees that have been able to grow up in the forest right now are pine trees or softwood trees. All the paper companies in the world now are recycled. It used to be 80% solid fiber. We have recycled ourselves to death, and now we're going back to paper bags instead of plastic bags because anyway, it's a mess. Yep. Real quick, my report. I really went down. I want to thank Charles Honeycutt for this. He invited me down to the Veterans Employment Center and Fresno Communal Forces, which we don't have here in Madera County. Over 40 people showed up to basically get veterans jobs. EDD was there. Notice I said EDD. They're not even representing them in Madera County anymore. Anybody that goes EDD either has to get online or go to Fresno. But I asked the group, I got 17 different cards, and I've asked Charles to help me set this up in Madera County, and it's for almost everything that I've been talking about. The vets, when they step into Madera County, we welcome them, find out what's their issues, and get them a job. And I've already asked I've asked the VFW and I've asked the American Legion already to be the 503C on this committee. So I'll be bringing this to the board basically to get this going and initiated. And then I did go to, like I said, I went to the BK lighting ceremony. Outstanding. I had a dual amputation person that used to be on the bomb squad. And his two legs missing, but boy, he was funny and tear jerking at the same time. And then I went to the Patriots Day bike show and car show out at Post 11 on Sunday. So let's go back to closed session. Okay. Okay, there's three of us here. County Council, anything to report, folks? Okay.
There are no reportable actions from closed session.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Meeting adjourned.